as if you needed another example of this, ESPN has proven once again they do not care about the fans. They're not going to do anything thinking about the fans first. And yes, this is going to be in part a complaint about Utah and Texas Tech and the treatment or lack thereof from ESPN and specifically College GameDay. But really, if you want to branch it out big picture, it's just like what does ESPN do anymore that's like really truly about the fans, what we want, the love of the sports, all this stuff. And that kind of goes in general. Like I think Scott Van Pelt does a good job of that. I think he really truly, you can sense how much he loves sports when he's on there, whether it's college football or anything else. But they give us they just force feed us these terrible people screaming at each other, daytime talk shows to talk about LeBron and the Cowboys, and like what is being done at ESPN these days that is about putting the fans first. Certainly the way ESPN has handled the actual sport of college football generally is not. Conference realignment being the biggest part of that. I always reference this, but you go back to John Skipper, the former head of ESPN, being on the Dan Le Batard show at one point, asked like, hey, did you put your thumb on the scale of realignment? Like, were you guys calling the shots there? And he said, no comment. Like, they played a large role in all the realignment that's happened, which has been the worst thing for fans. Even if you're a Big Ten or an SEC fan and like you think that's great, you've lost great rivalries because of this. Like, games are not being played every single year that should be. We have all lost a lot because of conference realignment and what was done when nothing needed to be done. The sport was incredible, and it was set up to be like that in perpetuity until ESPN comes along and does that. ESPN gives us things like, the college football playoff rankings show. By the way, ESPN focusing all of its content, all of the coverage of college football around the playoff, shaping it all around the playoff narrative, which is not good. That's not a good influence on everybody. It takes emphasis away from the regular season, which is what makes college football great. The ranking shows are just one big rage baiting session. I mean, there's really no reason to do it other than to just get you tweeting and get you very angry. Some people seem to like this. I don't like that. Game Day is just like, Pat McAfee cutting WWE promos. But let's stick on Game Day here, okay? Because the options for next week to go to College Game Day, I would say your options are you have two matchups between ranked teams. You've got Indiana, Illinois, number 9 versus number 19. You've got Texas Tech and Utah, number 17 and 16. Instead, College Game Day is going to Miami. They're going to Miami Gardens to watch Miami, I'm sure, beat the crap out of Walking Dead man Billy Napier. Billy Napier's 1-2. He's lost to South Florida already. If we're doing transitive property, South Florida got decleated by Miami after beating Florida. Could it be a competitive game? Sure. ESPN, I'm sure, would tell me, well, Miami's a great story right now. Some people think they're the best team in the country the way that they're playing at the moment. We're going to go take the story there. No, what you're doing is you're taking an SEC team. You're taking what is convenient to you based on your business interests here, right? Okay. And I am just as frustrated by this about the fact that they're not going to Indiana, Illinois, as I am the fact that they're not going to Salt Lake City here. Like, Indiana, Illinois is an awesome story. That is great. Like those two schools were two of the better stories in college football last year. Illinois has been a terrible football program. There's been no juice, pun somewhat intended from back in the Juice Williams days. There's been no juice with that program in forever. It has some now with Brett Bielema, who, by the way, is a fun personality himself. Indiana comes out of nowhere. Again, I don't know how I can work an Antoine Randall L pun into that one, but they haven't been relevant since like Antoine Randall L was hanging out there. They all of a sudden have a great season last year where they turn into this big college football playoff narrative commentary about whether or not they should have been in. You get those two teams matching up. They're ranked in the top 20. Kurt Signetti is another guy that is he's a walking quote. That guy's a walking rage baiter himself with anything he's going to say. He's not afraid to take shots at other leagues. There's so much there. There's so much there. And that's we love this about college football. People who love the sport love this about college football, that you have matchups like this, it doesn't have to always be LSU and Alabama, man. Indiana, Illinois popping up and being great. What is the one season that you hear about all the time in college football still? It's 2007. People romanticize about the 2007 season because that's the year that deep into the season you had like Kansas, Missouri, South Florida, Rutgers, all those teams in the top 10. And it was great and people loved it and there were upsets everywhere. And like, we love that about college football. So highlight it. Do that part of the sport justice. Go to that game. But, well, ESPN they're not a part of the Big Ten TV deal now. So, why do that when we can go watch 1 and 2 Florida? Thankfully not ranked, I guess. I don't know. I hope not, with Notre Dame being ranked at 0 and 2. Why not go watch 1 and 2 Florida get drilled by Miami? Why not do that? Because we haven't done the Miami story enough times thinking, oh, the U is back, the U is back, the U is back. And yet Miami still has not won the ACC since entering the conference. Like, it's maddening. It's very annoying. Of course, Salt Lake City would have been a great answer too. They have not been averse to covering the same game before. If it were Ohio State, Michigan, where they would be. Both places would be there. Okay. You could go be at the same place and a place where people are going to show up. It'll be an awesome environment. Can you imagine Salt Lake, like Utah fans, if they came to that game? People will be there. People would be fired up. It would be awesome. And yet we're going to go to Miami. How many Miami fans are going to show up to that? Miami, a program that consistently fills it up and definitely never has empty NFL stadiums that are about 25% full to go watch a team full of very talented players not meet expectations. I hate it. I hate it. It would be way more fun to... The Indiana-Illinois thing is like Kansas. That Kansas TCU game a couple of years ago drew great ratings. People loved it because that's a place where you'd never think game days go in there. You highlight that story and what's happening, and it's not going to happen with Indiana, Illinois. It's not going to happen with Texas Tech, Utah. It's ESPN doing its ESPN thing, and it just, I don't know, man. It's disheartening because it makes me feel like everything continues to trend toward, hey, this is going to be AFC, NFC, and we've got our side. You've got your side. Fox, you take the AFC. ESPN, we got the NFC, so we'll take the best game here. It just feels like that's what they want all this to be and where it's going. And I just hate it. I hate it. But it is what it is. And that's what we got. That's what we're stuck with. Alan, appreciate you being here, Alan. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to be like Alan, you can click the $sign below the chat box to submit a super chat. Alan says, John, kudos, great show. Thank you, Alan. Saw Wisconsin rumors, but believe Travis Goff will do what it takes to keep Lance Leipold at KU. Still optimistic for Jayhawk 10-win season and Sunflower Showdown. Alan, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not optimistic for the Sunflower Showdown, my friend. I am not looking forward to October 25th. I do not think that is going to be a fun day for K-State fans at all. I've delivered the message like 3 times already. You can go watch the Fremont podcast or my live stream about the K-State Arizona game the other night if you want this. But I've already given my, get your affairs in order speech to K-State fans for what's going to happen on October 25th. Wisconsin would be, maybe like the one job that would make me nervous if I were a Kansas fan because of Lance Leipold's obvious ties there. I think the more comforting thing for me right now, if I were a Kansas fan, would just be, I don't know that Wisconsin's going to have the appetite to pay Luke Fickell's buyout. But yeah, Saturday had to probably make you a little bit more nervous if you're a Kansas fan because Alabama was all over Wisconsin. They did not have a whole lot going on Saturday. But hey, if you end the streak and it's done at Sweet 16 this year, Alan, I will be happy for you, my friend. I will at least be happy for you to get to enjoy that. Thank you for your support of the channel as always. Great to see you.